Hello, I'm Eric Kane, the Director of ESG Research for Bloomberg Intelligence, and for this month's ESG News Bulletin, we'll focus on two key areas. First, we'll discuss the SEC's decision to disband its enforcement division's Climate and ESG Task Force. And second, we'll discuss a series of announcements from Microsoft, Google, and Meta that demonstrate the various strategies tech companies are employing to address their CO2 emissions in light of increasing energy consumption associated with AI. I'll then be joined by Tyler Bordick, an ESG advocate within Bloomberg Sales, who will walk through some of the tools we have on Terminal that can help clients understand the current state of carbon offset prices and projects. In mid-September, the SEC disbanded their Climate Enforcement Division's Climate and ESG Task Force, marking another setback for the agency's ESG agenda. Formed in 2021, the task force was developed to identify misconduct related to ESG. It was involved in actions against Deutsche Bank and Goldman Sachs for misleading ESG fund claims, which yielded fines of $25 million and $4 million respectively. Although the SEC claims that the Enforcement Division now has ESG expertise, which can be carried forward, this is widely seen as the latest in a series of setbacks for the agency's ESG agenda. At the beginning of the year, ESG was removed from the list of the agency's priorities, and with SEC Chair Gary Gensler's tenure potentially drawing to a close, plans to require human capital and board diversity disclosures are yet to yield formal proposals. Meanwhile, the agency's climate disclosure rules have been paused due to lawsuits from Republican attorneys general. At BI, we continue to monitor and publish research on the SEC's ESG-related disclosure efforts. September saw several interesting announcements from tech firms that are trying to address their CO2 emissions while seeing increased energy consumption due to the demands of AI. Microsoft signed a power purchase agreement with Constellation Energy that will help resurrect one of the nuclear reactors at 3 Mile Island. That reactor was retired in 2019, while the second reactor has been shuttered since a partial meltdown in 1979 and will not reopen. The agreement with Microsoft is for a 20-year period, and the electricity will be used to power the company's data centers once the plant is back online, which is planned for 2028. In the same month, Microsoft peer Google agreed to pay $10 million to start up Halocene Climate to remove 100,000 metric tons of CO2 by 2034. Halocene uses amino acids and other organic compounds to pull CO2 from the atmosphere, which is concentrated and heated to allow the CO2 to be transported for underground storage. Google announced earlier in the year that it would contract at least $35 million worth of carbon removal credits over the 12-month period that began in March. Finally, Meta, the parent company of Facebook, announced that it has reached a deal to buy up to 3.9 million nature-based carbon removal credits. The deal is with BTG Pactual Timberland Investment Group, which focuses on the conservation, restoration, and planting of deforested and degraded properties in Latin America. The company aims to protect and restore more than 330,000 acres. Of course, at BI, we continue to track which of the top emitting companies rely on offsets to meet their goals and provide emissions forecasts through our BI carbon dataset. And now I'll turn over to Tyler Bordick to walk through Bloomberg's CO2e function and its carbon offset project dataset, which can help clients navigate the evolving carbon credit markets.
Thank you, Eric. My name is Tyler Bordick, and I am an ESG advocate within Bloomberg Sales. Over the last few years, the increased dependency on technology, innovation, and artificial intelligence has yielded larger energy usage and greenhouse gas emissions. Companies continue to use carbon offsets and credits in an effort to reduce their emissions footprints. Bloomberg has tools and functionality to help you track this market for your investment consideration. CO2e Go allows you to track global carbon market activity on a consolidated dashboard, so you can find information to support your carbon market investment decisions all in one place. On the left side of the screen, review the latest global carbon rates, such as allowance prices, offset prices, and indicators. On the right side of the screen, track recent carbon market analysis and news. DSET Carbon Offset Projects Go is a comprehensive dashboard that details thousands of individual carbon offset projects with annual issuance and retirements, plus the associated metadata. The database includes projects from the Big Four registries, Verra, Gold Standard, American Carbon Registry, and Climate Action Reserve that make up about 80% of total carbon offset projects. The database can be used to aggregate and observe macro-level trends, such as if issuance is going up or down, or which registry has been growing the most. In the feature chart, we can note that issuance has been falling in recent years, along with the distribution between avoidance and removal projects. Thank you, and back to you, Eric.
Thanks, Tyler. And as a reminder to our viewers, more data and research related to these topics and much more can of course be found on Terminal by going to BI/ESG Go. Thanks so much for listening, and please stay tuned for next month's bulletin, and we'll see you then. Meanwhile, Shein, the global fashion and lifestyle retailer, appears to have largely abandoned plans for a U.S. IPO after facing pushback, including on social practices like limited insight into its supply chain, in particular cotton.